Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center, and it's been a tumultuous season for the Robert Morris offense for the football team. The team currently ranks 122nd out of 123 in total offense, 122nd out of 123 in scoring average, only 9 points per game here, and they're 90th in the red zone offense. The fiery hot women's basketball team appears to be unstoppable. Their brick wall of a defense is ranked the 17th best in the entire country, and ESPN Bracketology has Charlie Biscaglia's squad as a 15 seed, which would be a first for the program. And the men's hockey team, they stumbled to a 2-5-0 start through their first 7 games this season, including a 3-game losing streak that they're currently on. The Robert Morris Colonials went into PBG Paints Arena on Sunday, tied for first place in the conference with none other than their opponent, the Wagner Seahawks. These teams go into battle sporting the top 2 defenses in the NEC. Expect a little bit of a defensive battle here, and you're going to start off with Deshaun Burke on the rebound. And watch this pass out to Leandre Washington. He's going to step back, and here's the 3 at the Colonials Arena. And who's going to send it in? None other than Amber Rennie off the shot from Kirsten Welsh there. And Welsh having a game, but it was Rennie who sent that one. And you'll hear more from Welsh later as the Teddy Bears reign. Central Connecticut staying tight through the first 10 minutes of play, and then Robert Morris decided they're going to kick it into gear. Jocelyn Jones, she misses the first one, but she comes back with the layup there. And then you're going to see Jocelyn Jones with the 3-point shot right here. That's going to be that's her 5 for the night. She was quiet, but it didn't matter because the rest of that team, Logan, unstoppable. They just
like
kept
the
firing.
Bryant game, they fell behind a little bit early, things stayed close, and they got hot from the threes, and they pulled away.
And at the center of it all, Megan Smith, she had 22 points, astounding here. He was 71% from three-pointers on the day. Leandre Washington, he had a day, but right here, JoJo Cooper, and he says, "Get back, JoJo!" And he brings in the layup right there. Great steal, JoJo with 17 points and 9 rebounds on the day. But Kobe Thomas, probably the most electric player in Moon Township with the slam right there. Robert Morris with the 10-point lead going into the half. Holy crap, the attack is not going to stop here. Their offense, 15th in the nation this season, 3.25 goals per game, while the Colonials' defense is one of the worst in the country, ranked 43rd here. And they're going to continue that scoring onslaught. And you're going to see the defense here get a little action. They're 25th in the nation. You're going to see Tyler Lamica. That's one of 3 sacks on the day for the Colonials, while Wagner had 8. Matt Barr was getting attacked all day. And Harrison Dreher continues his strong season. 59 yards on the day for him, 37 coming on that run here. And Robert Morris would go put the Blue Devils away, 66-47. The Colonials defense was ultimately too much to handle. And again, Robert Morris here, that is their 9th in a row, and they are going to remain undefeated in conference play. RMU would end the weekend with their first win of the season against the Nittany Lions. Kirsten Welsh would add 1 goal and 2 assists to her impressive weekend that saw her put up 2 goals the night before, bringing her total to 5 points. Good evening and welcome to RMU TV's special coverage of the Pennsylvania 18th Congressional District Special Election, brought to you by the Chick-fil-A in Robinson. I'm Sam Anthony, and alongside me is Logan Carney. And Logan, the polls closed at 8 p.m., and after the voters flocked into the polls all day, what do we know so far? And you know, it's interesting that you mentioned Allegheny County, because you're right. That right there is going to be the heart of it. So much of the votes in this district come from Allegheny County, and that was a county which went to Clinton during the election, one that was blue there. So if you're looking at Connor Lamb right now, that's one of those keys, is winning Allegheny County, but winning it convincingly. Because the way the predictions, the polls are looking right now, it looks like Rick Saccone will win the smaller counties in Greene, in Washington, and Westmoreland. But if he wins Allegheny County and convincingly, there's so many votes in that county that he will be able to get away with this one. Again, it's still going to be close. We couldn't get enough of Dr. Moretti, so we brought him back up here. We wanted to get a chance to talk to him. Dr. Moretti, thank you so much for coming on.
This is always a fun night. It really is. And you know, it's the 4th time that I've been part of this since I've been here. And every time I see the energy in the students, the energy in making the production as great as it can be, this is really a lot of fun for someone like me.
Well, perfect. And you know what? We bring you on here because you know so much about this stuff. So I want to get your thoughts on Tim Murphy, all right? Because this is where it all started. It was the marital affair that ended up with him resigning. And Tim Murphy was a powerhouse in, he ran unopposed in 2016 and 2014. So him stepping down was a big opening for the Democratic Party. How important is it for the Democrats to win this race? And Mr. Miller, it's very interesting here as these results come in, and what are your thoughts? Because the small amount of votes that you are getting are making a huge impact on this race, and I just want to get your thoughts on how everything's unfolding so far.
No, I completely agree. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I was having an interview with WTAE, and they asked me, what type of an impact are you going to have on your race? And I told them, I am absolutely going to be the spoiler for one of these candidates because the race was too close. I knew it was going to be, basically a 50-50 race, and I was going to take votes away from one of these other candidates. That is happening now, and I think we're sending a very clear message to the rest of the nation that the liberty movement is real and that we need to be taken seriously.
I'm here at Yorktown Hall at Robert Morris University, where Conor Lamb and Joe Biden just finished speaking as Conor Lamb is making his final push here days before the special election in the 18th District of Pennsylvania. After being introduced by Lamb, former Vice President Biden gave his pitch as to why voters should get behind the 33-year-old candidate. Biden compared Lamb to his son, Beau, who, like Lamb, served in the U.S. military, while hitting on some of Lamb's key campaign points, such as protecting Social Security and Medicare. Take away nothing.
Yeah, who cares?
Youngstown State is the number 6 team in the nation. That is not... Here's the thing, and I know that we're in the same, championship subdivision, but in terms of where Robert Morris is right now is, here, which granted, last year I would say they were there, but Youngstown State, they're up here. They're on just another level. They were the national runners-up last year. To go in and think, I know it was a big win against Dayton, and Dayton's a great team. That was a great football win for Robert Morris. But to go in and think that they were going to upset this team, and I think the score makes it seem worse than it was. Now, Robert Morris displayed probably its most impressive game in recent memory, pitching the first shutout in the John Banaszak era, dominating VMI 23-0. Guys, what were your thoughts on the game, and can Robert Morris repeat this performance? It's got to be somebody besides Bailey Winkle that has to score, because you know what? He has 6 goals, and there is nobody else on that team that has more than 1. And that's huge, because you know what? If you're a team scouting Robert Morris, you know what you do? You say, get the ball away from Bailey Winkle. And the fact that he has 14 shots, while Keane McIver has 23 shots but no goals, he needs to show up. He's a guy that needs to step up. Somebody who tried to step up last year didn't do that. They need some more scoring.
Now, if you ask this Robert Morris Colonials team who was one of the toughest players on that team, I promise you one of the first names you would get is Elias Gantus. The shot blocking product from Ottawa has blocked over 100 shots in the last 2 seasons alone. Really incredible points. Not only that, but Gantus can speak 3 languages. When he gets out, he's hoping to be a firefighter, and we wish him nothing but the best. Again, continuing to prove his toughness on and off the ice.
Now we welcome in our ringside reporter, Sam Anthony. Sam, of course, this was a huge game on senior night. It's not the result that Bobby wanted. They wanted that win. Obviously, it doesn't matter much with these scores that just finished. But how big is a tie for you, especially just seeing that last chance we just saw?
In terms of confidence, Adam, it's
Everything. Robert Morris here, they really needed a confidence booster, 5-game losing streak, a win to end the season going into the playoffs would have been huge. And we talked about it earlier, the missed opportunities, and they really made the most of them earlier, but when it counted towards the end, they didn't get to put that one shot they really needed to, and that might haunt them come the playoffs because they still haven't gotten that win.
But you do have to give a lot of credit, and people will talk about Kovac, but Ace Harrison really kept the red flash in that game. She had 8 of the first 14 points, and when Robert Morris went up 10-0, she came back 2 big steals, 2 big scores, really kept them in this one. Robert Morris had an opportunity early, because not only was the defense clicking, but the offense was clicking. They had an opportunity early to really get ahead, put this one away, and really force the red flash to come from behind. And the play of Harrison, not only on offense but on defense, to be very physical, very aggressive, just all over the floor, really allowed it so that there was less pressure on Kovac. She was able to come back, and the second half, as soon as Kovac hit that shot, she said it in the press conference. She was like, you know what, let's keep this going. Let's see how long we can make this last. And she made it last the whole third quarter. 18 points, 6 3-pointers, unbelievable. And the Red Flash really set themselves up, not only offensively, but defensively. This past Friday, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit vacated Ezekiel Elliott's injunction that had previously allowed him to play despite the running back's 6-game suspension. Today, the courts denied Elliott's filing for another injunction, and now he will begin to serve his suspension. Ezekiel Elliott has quickly changed from one of football's most exciting and popular players to one that many believe has abused his privilege as an NFL player to put the law second behind playing football. Not only that, but the best back in the football in the game last year came to camp overweight and out of shape. Elliott needs to step it up as both a football player and, more importantly, as a person and do the right thing. Take his suspension and spend the next 6 weeks really reflecting and working on yourself, because if you don't, your future is going to be a short one in the NFL. Ananiki Stamalamprou is a household name to anyone who's familiar with the accomplishments and history of Robert Morris women's basketball. But before her rise to stardom, she was simply a freshman and a newcomer to Moon Township, Pennsylvania, all the way from Thessaloniki, Greece. The coveted recruit was in a whole new country, learning a whole new culture and a whole new language, an adjustment that she was willing to make for the game that she loved more than anything. Cole Blake, born and raised in Moon Township, Pennsylvania, is a prime example of what someone can accomplish if they're willing to do whatever it takes. Blake is returning to the field after missing the entire 2016 season due to a blow to the knee from his own teammate during spring practice. I'm Sam Anthony. Alongside me is starting quarterback Jimmy Walker and starting tight end Reggie Green from the Robert Morris football team. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today.
It's great to be here.
All right. So
thanks for having us.
We got you guys for an interview before you guys head off tomorrow morning to head to North Dakota. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is being the new guys on the team, because Reggie, you too, a lot of people talk about Jimmy Walker transferring from San Diego State, but you transferred here from Pitt. So I want to hear about what was it like, being the new guy on the team, and it wasn't, not even as a freshman, you came in as a graduate student. What was it like kind of trying to gel with the guys?
I think it was pretty easy transition. A lot of the guys were super welcoming and opening, so after a while, I felt like I became one of the guys, so it was pretty easy transition for me.
We have Nick Biseglia, Gerald Ferguson, and Taven Allison. Thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
So we're going to start off with you, Nick. You hit that game-winning field goal, 26-yarder, to put the Colonials over the top, their first win versus Dayton in 17 years. What was it like being part of such a special moment?
I mean, it's always good to beat a team that you haven't beaten in, especially such long as us, 17 years. Beating that streak, ending that streak, it's always a good thing for us.
Blake's ability to overcome was born from a traumatic incident back when he was a child.
I kicked it in neutral, like I always do. Went to put the chain back on. Well, it wasn't in neutral, even though I thought it was. As soon as the chain caught on, just took my finger in. So then I got stuck because I killed the switch as soon as my finger went in. And then, I don't know, it took maybe 20, 30 minutes before we even got it back out. It was crazy. And my finger was just like, I had riding gloves on. So like, if I had to give you a picture of what it looked like, it was kind of just like bent off to the side like that. They started talking to my mom and they were like, yeah, he has a serious trauma to his finger. We're looking at a shattered finger, possible amputation. And instantly my heart rate went up to like 160 or 170 and I was just like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. I was freaking out. They had to calm me down.
For Air Force that lost, that was Matt Sarator, who, Sam, you mentioned pre-game, is actually the nephew of the coach for Air Force.
And you know what? Don't expect any favoritism there, because Matt Sarator is good. One of the leading scorers on the team. Had him heading the bus, that's a big loss here for the Air Force Falcons. But even play, big break for the Colonials, who, again, have really struggled on the penalty kill this season, and that penalty kill cut short. Let's see what each team can make of the 4-on-4, kind of a unique situation here. And perfect execution there by the Falcons on that one, taking advantage of the Colonials looking sloppy. Matthew Graham got through earlier on kind of a rough pass there, really unable to find a rhythm, and Air Force took advantage of the turnover, ran it right down, perfect formation. Everyone was exactly where they needed to be there, and there really wasn't a lot Francis Marat could do. And Robert Morris down 1-0 early here. Joining me on the sideline here is Joshua Way and Connor Campbell of the university's ROTC program. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. All right, so my first question for you guys is, tell me a little about the ROTC program at this school. It's a little bit unknown, even though you guys are over there every week shooting off the cannon. What's it like?
So the ROTC program, we wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for PT, and then we have an MS class depending on what year you are, once a week. On top of that, we're here at events like this doing color guard at Cannon. Some other things we do is hockey game events along with things in the vet center.
So now tell me a little bit about having the responsibility of shooting off the cannon. How did you get involved with that?
We went to Cannon. It's really just something the school kind of allowed us to do, and it's a fun responsibility. Definitely gets your adrenaline going a little bit, standing there pulling that cord and hearing the sound. Lose your hearing a little bit, but it's really enjoyable. I mean, it's a quick, easy process, and we get closer with our cadets we had joined this year. So it's a fun process for all of us.